All right, well, we are about 5 minutes in. Seems like we have a good group of folks. I'm seeing 24, which is certainly a good group. I've gone ahead and posted the PGCon Unconference Day FAQ, frequently asked questions, into the chat. It's up on the Postgres wiki for anybody who didn't see it in the chat. The general idea here, though, is that we're going to run this very similar to how we have previously run the PGCon virtual unconference. I have a Slido link set up that I will share here in just a minute, where basically what we'll do is we'll have people put in what they're, what they would like to give an unconference talk about, or possibly what topics they would like to discuss. And then we'll have folks vote on all of those topics. And once we've gone through voting, we'll go through scheduling them. And so generally the way that we've done this in the past, that has seemed to work reasonably well, is that we'll kind of schedule the most popular sets of talks into kind of throughout the day in the first track, followed by the second track and the third track. And then we'll make an effort to do some amount of adjustment for anybody who feels that they really want to be in two talks that end up getting scheduled at the same time. That's worked out reasonably well in the past, always open to suggestions or thoughts about how we can change that. Although that is how intending to run it, at least this time. So as usual with an unconference, yes, there may be some amount of presenting, but typically it's more of a discussion, right? That's the usual idea about how we go through these. So just be aware of that. One of the other things, though, is that we would like to have somebody for each session taking notes, if possible, and then updating and then uploading those notes after the discussion to the wiki page that I will paste here. So that's the wiki page that eventually we'll want notes to be updated on. That's also where we will post the schedule once we've got it sorted out. Feel free to ask any questions as we go through this, but I'm going to go ahead and share out the Slido link, which hopefully will work for everybody. So that's the Slido link. So the general idea here is if anybody and everybody who's interested in giving a talk or not, or participating in a particular open discussion, please go to that Slido link and propose your particular talk that you would like to to present on, or to have an open table or a round table or an open discussion on. Once those once everybody's submitted those talks, we'll give each person who submitted a talk an opportunity during this session to kind of pitch their idea, and after that we'll do a vote on them for folks to give their interest level, right? So it is possible that someone will bring up a topic or a discussion that unfortunately other people are not interested in which case they may not get a slot. That's kind of how it goes. Although we do have quite a few slots. We are going to be running 3 concurrent tracks throughout the day. And each track is going to have 4 different sessions. So if I do my math correctly, I believe that means we'll have 12 sessions total. So that's a pretty good number of sessions. So it's all going to just depend on how many are proposed, and maybe all of them will get an opportunity. Looks like we're seeing some folks putting things in, which is great. Looks like it's at least working. Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have any problems with or any difficulties using the Slido link?
We can't see what other people are putting in as they put them in.
No, I don't think so. That's a fair question. Let me see if there's anything I can do. I mean, I can see them as they come in. I have a share here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I don't.
Can you share your window so that we can see what people are proposing to maybe Let's start our process.
Just give me a second here. Let me pull this into another window.
Can
So
I
we can
hand
go-
in 2 different suggestions, or should I try to find whatever covers both of them?
No, you can do multiples. That's
Yeah, you can do more than one. Please feel free to do more than one. All right, let me try and share this out.
Often we combine them later if need be, but
Dan, I need you to enable screen sharing for me, please, and thank you. Yeah, we'll do a round of essentially consolidation in the event that there are ones that are very clearly very similar.
Try now, Stephen.
All right, thank you, Dan. All right, did that work for folks? Are people able to see the ones that are coming in?
we can see your screen, but I don't see. Oh, I see on the right there.
Right,
see,
yeah, over
yeah.
on the right is where they're going to be showing up. So you can see there's a couple for logical replication. There's some about improving stats, removing SPI from our trigger function implementation.
that's actually an important one.
I'm sorry. I was giggling a little bit about it because at first when I saw SPI, I was thinking software in the public interest, which is a nonprofit that Postgres is involved in, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I have often seen comments about removing Debian from SPI as being something that some people think is a good idea. And for a moment there, I thought people were like, we want to get rid of SPI. And I'm like, wait, no, this is wrong community. Anyway, no, I actually agree with with the goal of removing the store procedure interface from the trigger implementation, because that is kind of crazy. And that's actually been a topic I'm fairly confident we've had on prior unconferences too.
Yeah, that's my only hesitation. Is the thing I'm most interested in is something that we have talked about at previous unconferences. So I'm not sure how much more I have to talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We definitely talked about it. I think that it's something that needs a bigger push than just one unconference.
So I will just offer, if anybody's unable to, for whatever reason, use Slido for this, if they want to just paste their idea for what they want into a chat message, I can add it to the Slido list. We'll give people another few minutes to add items here. I don't want to take too long because it would be great to get into the point where we have folks doing pitches, although we have a lot of room for more. If anybody has any topics that they're not sure about that they think might be interesting. Currently, we have 8, it looks like.
Well, at least if we finish like early and we can all go to bed for those who are attending in the middle of the night in whatever time zone they're in. It won't be a catastrophe. We don't have to fill up all the slots just because they exist.
That is fair. I can support that. Although to be fair, I mean, I don't know about fair, but on the flip side of that, I would actually advocate for using as many of the slots of the day as we have so that the most people can participate.
Yeah, that's
in as many
fair too.
sessions.
Yeah.
So
point taken.
Is anybody still having trouble adding their items to the Slido, or is everybody who wanted to add an item been able to, or does anybody want more time?
How many people are attending from non-North American time zones? I guess
I don't have that answer.
it's hard to.
Well,
Yeah, I was assuming people would put up their hand or something, but like a lot of people have their cameras off, so that makes it harder.
Amit is attending from Japan, right? A lot of these,
Right,
people are-
yeah, I'm talking from Japan.
Masahiko Sawada would be in Japan. A bunch of people are in Europe, so it's not as bad for them, but it will get a little late by the end.
Do we have anybody from kind of the India time zone? I would imagine so. Well, I'm not sure. Or Australia.
I'm not sure whether Thomas was going to try to come.
Yeah, you know who I'm thinking about. I'll note that there are certain California folks who are not here, which is fair. It's kind of early.
I do think Andres was planning to come for part of it.
That's my understanding also. And I mean, which is also an argument for why I would rather not start the actual talks too early. Because I know folks are potentially going to be getting up early to join us from the West Coast. So,
Hey, look, I did really well today. I didn't wake up until 5 a.m. I mean,
Should we just leave the last 3 slots of the day open for people who are waking up late?
I would guess that folks realize. I mean, folks know how this works, right? So if they wanted to present something, I would have thought that they would have joined us for this session. I think they would be unlikely to want to present something if they weren't here. Now, if we discussed that ahead of time and set it up that way ahead of time, then yeah, that could have made sense. But I don't think it makes sense at this point to presume that they're gonna want to add things later. So I would suggest that we instead try to spread things out as much as possible. And we've gotten some more, so I have it looks like we're probably going to end up being pretty close to covering all the sessions anyhow. Well, that's okay, Thomas. It's all right. All right. Is anybody else still working? I'll give it until 20 after, and then we're gonna have to start moving on. So just so folks are aware, so what I'll do at 10:20 or at 20 after the hour, for those that are on hour boundaries, right? With U.S. Eastern, I will close the poll, and then what we'll do is we'll have people start to, each person who proposed an idea should take a couple of minutes to discuss what their general idea is. While that's happening, I will create and update the multiple choice poll with all of these different options. And then once that's done, and once everybody's had an opportunity to provide their thoughts or provide their pitch, what we'll do is we will then move on to voting on them. And then after that, we will set up the actual schedule. So last minute or so, and yes, if you want to, be the first one to do your pitch, post now, because apparently these are in reverse order of of when they were submitted, and that's what order will go in for the pitches, because that's easy. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And of course, now it all went away. Where did it go? View results. There we go. All right. So hopefully everybody can see that all right. So whoever proposed things, let's just kind of go in order, top to bottom. So we'll start with state of the SQL standard. So
Great, that's me.
Go ahead and pitch it. Yep.
Yeah, I just noticed actually I proposed this PGCon 2019 already on my old notes. Yeah, again, this is, if people want to talk about this, I'm available to lead this. As I've mentioned before, I've been participating in the SQL Standard Working Group for a few years now, and I can just update folks what's going on. If people have feedback, have questions of how it works, what's coming next, what we should do, what we could do. Yeah, there's a forum for that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was Peter Eisentraut. So if anybody's interested in that, that's what you'll want to vote for. So the next one is, I believe this is Thomas Vandra from about the PostgreSQL versus the block size.
Yeah, so I guess that's already explained in the description. I think it would be interesting to consider making it easier to change the block size. I wouldn't go as far as like propose like changing the default, of course, but the problem is that currently we require like rebuilding the Postgres itself to change the block. And I think there is actually a lot to gain, at least in some workloads that are pretty common, by just using like a smaller or larger block sizes. I have done a lot of benchmarks that I can present in the session, and we can discuss like what might be causing that, and like discuss if it's worth the effort, right? So ultimately, I would imagine we do something like for the wall segment size, which we can now specify for InnoDB. So that would be, I think, the ultimate ideal solution to that.
Sounds pretty cool to me. Certainly some other systems do allow varied block sizes, so that's pretty interesting. All right, moving on. The next one proposed was the benchmarking roundtable. Whoever proposed that, if you could pitch it, please.
Yeah, just wanted to see if people want to talk about whatever benchmarking work they're working on. For example, there's a Google Summer of Code project to update the TPCE kit.
All right, very cool. So that's the benchmarking roundtable. And yeah, so we do have a number of Google Summer of Code things that are happening this year. For anybody who's interested, we actually have 12 projects that were accepted, which is quite a bit. And those are all published on the GSOC webpage. So if anybody has any questions about that, certainly feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk about it with anybody. The next one is reducing heap alignment losses.
Yeah, that was me. I want to discuss what features we can provide to our users to reduce the alignment losses that you have if you have, for instance, a Boolean then followed by a big int, followed by another Boolean, followed by another big int. Those can be quite significant, and I think we should at least try at some point to reduce those losses wherever possible. Right now, we can't really do that, especially not with new columns, but it is something we should care about. And I want to discuss what we can do about that.
Awesome. Yeah, makes a lot of sense to me. So the next one is talking about logical replication consistency. who did that is trying to speak. This is logical replication consistency does not match matrix for binary streaming replication. So I can't hear whoever proposed that. Was that you, Julian? I can't see. It looks like you were talking, but I can't see. I can't hear. We'll give Julian a moment here to work his. Yep.
Okay, now this goes through my very crappy webcam. At PGCon in Germany, second to last week, I think I had talked about different benchmarking, different replication systems, and on slides 31 and 32 in that presentation, I've put up the matrix that you're probably all familiar with from the PostgreSQL documentation regarding consistency at the replica for different synchronous commit settings. And I think that is quite a bit misleading if it is blindly applied to logical replication, because logical replication by default is configured to run with synchronous commit off in the logical subscriber. And so slide 32 from my slide set there suggests how that would be different. I don't know if that is way too little to discuss, and maybe it would be a good idea to merge with the other PG logical things. Not PG logical, sorry, logical replication, but PG logical suffers from the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, I do think that we'll talk a little bit about conflict resolution or not sorry about possible mergers here in a minute, but let's let everybody kind of go through and give their pitches. So thank you, Julian. Moving on, the next one is Mason as a new build system proposal for PT16.
Yep, I put that in here also. I talked to Andres briefly about this. So if we do schedule this, maybe we should schedule it a little later so he has a chance to join. So as those of you who've been paying attention, there's a proposal out there to introduce a new build system based on Meson. If you don't know what that is, you can join the session. And it's getting, at least in my estimation, to a point of maturity that we can seriously consider it for Postgres 16. And so if you want to know what that is, I can demo it. You can bring in your concerns. And we can talk about, sort of a strategy for that.
Awesome, thank you, Peter. Next one is observability gaps.
Observability. Did I misspell it? I don't think so.
I mean, my Chrome didn't seem to think it was a real word, but go ahead.
It's a tech buzzword more than word, but I think I had an unconference about this last year, but I can't find the notes for it, so I'm not sure if someone else took the notes. But basically, Postgres provides lots of statistics, but it provides them in a very SQL-centric way, and I wonder whether people using I'm sort of on a mission to integrate Postgres metrics into observability tools like Prometheus or tracing tools, or there's other metrics tools as well, and things like Grafana. And I want to know what what pain points people have had and what metrics they to what degree the SQL-centric metrics don't meet their needs because they're not easy to integrate in those tools, or integrate with metrics from other tools, or I have my own ideas, but I'm more interested in like people's experiences in the field other than mine. As I said, I've done the session on this in the past, so I'm not sure. I'm a little bit leery about just repeating the same thing from last year. Is that
Okay.
clear?
Sounds pretty reasonable to me. Moving on, the next one is logical replication, origin filtering, and conflict resolution. Go ahead, Julian. I'm not hearing you yet. I did see you raise your hand.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess I must reboot my PC at some point. Yeah, this was also done for my benchmarking of logical replication solutions and so on. I've briefly looked at what it takes to bring the origin filtering from PG logical into the core. I did that for Postgres 13 because that was what I was comparing for the benchmarks. And that for simply skipping all the non-local origins where before sending them out is basically a two-liner, and if there would be any configurability, that would be a little more code. But it's quite simple, and I was wondering if anybody is interested in that. And I also tried very basic conflict resolution based on timestamps, so that you could look at the commit timestamp and prefer the last update, for example. And I'm wondering if that is in somebody's interest to get that into in-core logical application.
Okay.
Or is anybody already working on that? I haven't looked at the mailing lists too much.
I don't know that I've seen anything on it specifically, but I do think that there's certainly interest. I know I'm interested just in general in conflict resolution. Did you also do the high replay lag one?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah. So when benchmarking, for example, an 8 CPU core system with 60 PG bench jobs and threads and so on. So there is a high CPU contention just from all the backends trying to work off the queries and transactions. That will, at least in my benchmarking, reproducibly lead to very high replay lags. The longer the benchmark, the higher the lag. And I've tried fixing that with C groups, but just from the outside, classifying all those processes that match the process name war sender, to put those in a different C group, for example. And that seemed to work quite well. That was my very first idea, and I was wondering if that could be something that could be brought into PostgreSQL to have sort of different C groups assigned for different purposes, put backends in certain C groups and other maintenance or replication tasks into different ones. By the way, I apologize if I do this Unconference thing completely wrong.
I think you're doing just fine so far. So all good, no worries. That sounds certainly sounds interesting. At the rate things are going, you may get an entire track just to yourself. So you'll have to let me know if that becomes a question or an issue.
Well, I'll have to bring my son to bed at some point, which would be around 4 p.m. New York or Ottawa time.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. All right, so let's move on to improving statistics accuracy with data sketches.
Yeah, this was me too. I attended the statistics talk by, sorry, I forgot your name. I know you're here. Sorry for that. Oh yes, Thomas, which was quite good. And after that, we talked a bit about how we can improve them, because currently we don't really have cross-column or even in-column. Well, in-column doesn't really exist for that, but cross-column cardinality estimates. And we should be able to significantly improve them. and at the same time also enable a bit of inheritance statistics gathering without too much of an issue. But those are estimates of what can be done and not exact ideas that are very fleshed out yet. So I want to talk about how we can improve the statistics accuracy through sketches. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, next is removing SPI from our RI trigger function implementation.
Hello, so this is Amit Langote. I proposed this topic. So I think this topic or a related topic came up last year. I think the title was referential integrity and should it be enforced with triggers. And my topic really is whether the triggers that we have to implement referential integrity should use SPI to do the actual checks. And I proposed a patch for that for version 15 that didn't go in. So I just wanted to get some feedback on like how the implementation or how the how removing of SPI should, like, how we should go ahead with that.
Awesome. All right. Moving on, improving index performance in various index methods. This will be our last pitch, and after that, we can talk about possibly consolidating and or go to voting. So if folks want to, so let's just let that last person give their pitch, and then we'll move on to those other pieces.
Yeah, that was my primary pitch. We have various index methods, and I think there's a lot still on the table there. Even though other people a few years ago said, no, we're kind of there. And I want to discuss various methods that I think exist and people have mentioned before, some of which are implemented, some of which are on the hackers list, and some of which have not yet seen discussion on hackers. So yeah, just general ID sharing and seeing what can be done and documenting them so they can be added to the to-do list.
All right, fantastic. That all sounds great. So I've already copied all of these into a new poll for people, but I need to kind of monkey with things for a minute. So just give me a second here while I try and fix this, and then I can probably, let's see here. How do I stop sharing? Surely there was a way to stop. Whatever. All right, so let me turn
You have
on.
stopped.
Oh, have I? Oh, okay. Well, good. Okay, yeah, all right. All right, so now let's let me open up this poll, and let me get a link to it, and I will share that link. Okay, let's see if I did that right. It's a much bigger link than I thought it was, so I think there's actually a better link I can share, but at least try to see if that link works for folks. Are people able to get to the link through that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so yeah. So let's go to that link and go ahead and go vote and see if that's not what I wanted to do. Copy link address. Why is it? Okay. Zoom is trying to do stupid things with that link. All right. All right. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So the link Seems to work for me also. So, and if anybody sees any issues with what I put there, definitely let me know. Looks like people are starting to vote though, which is great. So, you know, vote for whatever topics you're interested in, and then we'll, you know, depending on what the votes come out with, we will see about scheduling things.
Stefan, I'm sorry. I think the Meson item is missing.
The Mason item is missing?
Or maybe it was renamed somehow, but I can't see it.
Mason new build system proposal.
I see it.
Yeah, I see it too.
I'm sorry, my bad.
No problem. Thank you for checking me. Appreciate that. Votes are still coming in. Looks like we have 19 people who have voted so far. 21. That's kind of cute. It shows me how many votes there are as well as how many people have voted. So in terms of the question about would I attend this talk or would I actively participate in this talk, I don't know that I have an answer to that question. I would say it's what you're interested in. I don't have a way of kind of defining, you know, what makes sense there. I would just say whatever you're interested in, and you know, we'll go from there. But realize, of course, that you know, we may not be able to schedule it such that you're able to make every talk you want to. So I don't have a way of having people prioritize which talks that they want. We can kind of work through that in the event that we run into conflicts.
Everything will be recorded and uploaded for blackmail later.
And hopefully we'll have people who are going to take notes as well and put them up on the wiki. So as a reminder, you know, I'm not going to be able to jump into every single one of these sessions, but if folks could please try at the beginning, whoever pitched the idea, I would ask, please try and find someone who's participating to be able to take notes and who will provide those notes and upload those notes to the wiki after. If anybody has trouble uploading notes to the wiki, you're welcome to just send me the notes in an email, and I will make sure that they get posted onto the wiki page. All right, we now have 30 folks have voted out of 42. I just want to give folks another minute or two in case they're still working on that. So at 45 after, so we'll give people 2 more minutes to vote, and after that we will we'll go through and start trying to schedule things. All right, well, I have 45 after. Looks like we got a couple more people to vote. So we now have 32. Anybody still working on voting who wants to speak up? All right, then. So I'm going to close the voting then. Hopefully I can do this. All right, so now if I go and view results, well, all right, I will just share my screen again with the results. Although annoyingly, I can't seem to figure out how to sort the results, but that's okay. I think we can do kind of a manual sort here. Let me share this. Okay, so the very top talk seems to be the Postgres versus the block size. I'm going to start updating the schedule here. Let me go find where that link was. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and so Postgres versus the block size. Given that seems to be pretty popular, I'm going to go ahead and put that as the first session in track 1. And then let's see, what was the next most popular? Looks like we have 3 of them that are tied for 41%. So I'm going to put, I don't know, I'm running it. So I'm going to put indexing method, improving indexing next. And I'll update the wiki with all of these here in just a second once I have kind of the initial round done. And then how about
Stephen, do we know if Peter's joining later or what?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has any idea. That would be useful to know, but I don't know. But I can, I mean, so is the thought here that we'd want to do the indexing later? I'll put that one as the later one in case he does join. Okay, that sound reasonable?
Yep.
Okay. And observability gaps, and then the other one was state of the SQL standard. All right, and after the 41s, we have 2 at 38. So I can't put that one against that, so I'll put that, okay. Not gonna double book you if I can avoid it, Peter. Mason new builds proposal. All right, so those were the 2 at 38. And we've got 1 at 31.
We didn't do any deduplication, but it sounded like some of the logical application talks were, well, okay. I don't know.
So I guess that's a question.
I don't know if we
right?
can talk about 1 hour about logical application origin filtering, but I guess we can just leave it like that. Fill the space.
Yeah, let me get the initial schedule in because I think we only had 12. Just get that done, and then we can go back, and if we want to do deduplication, we can.
Yeah.
All right, let me just go back and, okay, wait. Reducing heap alignment losses. Okay, so, all right, I believe I've done this such that I have, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure we had 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we had 12, and I've now got 12. So if you all go look at this link, you can now start yelling at me about what I need to change. So in the first time slot, I have Postgres versus the block size, removing SPI from RI trigger implementation, and logical replication high replay lag. The second time slot is state of the SQL standard, improving stats accuracy and logical replication origin filtering. The third time slot was observability gaps, Mason new build system proposal, and logic replication consistency. And the last session has improving index performance, reducing heap alignment losses, and benchmarking roundtable. So, okay, so improving index and reducing heap alignment are doubled up. So, improving.
I think that the idea that we're going to have 3 different sessions on logical replication, I think Peter has a good point there.
Okay, that's fair. So
it's not really my topic, but that's a lot of logical replication discussion.
Sure. So well, first of all, though, Matthias, which of the other slots would work best for me to move one of those topics to?
You're referring to the heap alignment and indexing, or the logical
Yes.
replication?
Improving index performance and reducing heap alignment are the 2 I'm referring to. So the question I have is, which of those would which time slot, the 1430 or the 1315 or the 1115 would be best for me to move one of those 2?
For me personally, I would prefer the 1430 slot because that's the only one left that I don't have I really want to show that watch there, but that's me, and I'm not sure on the rest. Plus, I don't have a lot to say on the heap alignment losses. So to me, I would be fine to show it off, but I'm not that set on the presentation being there or me being there.
Okay. So if I move reducing heap alignment, if I swap that with logical replication consistency, that works. All right, let me just do that real quick, and then we can discuss, other possible changes. Okay, I'll swap those 2. So what? I mean, I agree with the general comment about we don't need 3 logical replication, but also what would people like me to do instead? Does anybody really want to go to the logical? Julian, I think you need to still.
I kind of wanted to go to all of the ones that are at 11 o'clock. My guess would have been that the origin filtering and the consistency would go together rather than the replay lag seems like a separate direction to head. But it's my guess.
Okay. Julian, did you have a comment that you wanted to share?
Do you now hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, from my point of view, the origin filtering and the consistency things could be merged. I think I don't have that much to say about those 2. I think to fill an hour each.
Okay.
And but I don't know about anybody else. But
I'm happy to merge them. Which one would you like me to merge them into?
I'd rather you merge them in the second time slot into the 1315 to 1415.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yep. So that was origin filtering and consistency. Did anybody, I mean, now we have an empty time slot. That's fine. We can leave it empty. If anybody had something that they wanted to put in that place, though, now would be a time to speak up about it. Or do we want to, or does anybody have anything else that, they would like to see move? So Greg made a comment about the first time slot being really busy for him. We could, we could move things possibly if folks would prefer that. I would also suggest that, we could also, the high replay lag thing could be swapped with those, with the origin filtering and consistency. If that would help Greg.
Well, I could say what would help me, but I'm not sure that's fair for.
I mean, I don't know. Everybody's going to have probably some amount of opinion.
I mean, honestly, I think there's going to be I'll find something to watch in all of these slots anyways. Or participate in, sorry, not watch.
Okay. So Amit is asking about moving SPI from the RI trigger implementation to the he's saying it worked. Yeah, he's happy about where it is now. All right, fine. Thank you, Amit. Sorry, I was confused. Okay.
Is there anyone organizing one of these talks that would really like to see some other talk that they can't? Because that seems perhaps more worth focusing on than individual complaints. No?
I don't know. I'm getting the general feeling that folks seem to be reasonably happy with this somehow, and I'm not going to complain if that is indeed the case. Nobody thinks I missed anything, hopefully. I know it was noted that I misspelled something. I can go fix that.
Ironically, what you misspelled was the word accuracy, apparently.
Yeah.
That just seems. Yeah.
Go me.
Right, I missed it. That seems.
All right. Well, I mean, unless there's any other discussion on it, I think we'll go with this. So what we have now is a 15-minute break. So folks can step away, take care of whatever they need to take care of, and we will reconvene in these sessions starting at 15 after in the next hour block, which is 11:15 in Ottawa and on the U.S. Eastern Seaboard. And yeah, this all is looking pretty good. I'm certainly pretty excited. Happy to have everybody here. Thank you all for coming, and it looks like we're going to have a good unconference. As a reminder, we have both the Zoom sessions. These are all also being broadcast on pgcon.org publicly for folks. And there are IRC channels on Libera Chat for those who would like to participate in IRC, which I have to admit, I wasn't really checking. So hopefully nobody was trying to tell me anything in them. It doesn't look like it. But just so folks are aware that that's also a forum for discussion and feedback for those who are more akin towards IRC.